thanks to all of you for being here. And I get a couple minutes, so I want to thank all of the folks from Fitzgerald Auto Mall who volunteered to do the seat checks under the tent behind you. And a special thanks to the Montgomery County government, who is the reason that we're really in the seat check business. And of course, we should be thanking the National Transportation Safety Board and NTSB for being. See, when I talk about the government, what happens? Actually, the government does a lot of good things for us, and one of them is teaching us how to do seat checks. We are now close to 44,000 here, believe it or not. That's a lot of little kids, isn't it? We've had fun doing that. I've had fun because I don't have to do the work. I get to watch and play with the kids. Anyway, I will get out of the way so that you can hear from the chairman of the NTSB, and her name is Chairman Hersman. And she's been here a number of times before to meet and greet the children. And what this does, it gets publicity so that people hear about the need for seat checks. Young people that may not have been paying attention to that are having children, and they need to know that their children need to be properly positioned in the seat, and the seat has to be properly secured in the car. So this publicity helps young people learn what they need to do to take care of their children.
Over the next few weeks, 50 million students all across our country are going back to school. And here in Montgomery County, there are 150,000 students, some of them who might be making that trip to school for the very first time. That will begin in the next few days. Some of them will be riding buses to school. Others will be walking, riding their bikes, or being passengers in cars, and still others are going to be driving their cars to school. No matter how our students go to school, they need to go safely. At the NTSB, we investigate transportation accidents, and unfortunately, we see all too often the tragic consequences and the impacts that traffic crashes can have on kids. We see many lives senselessly cut short. 30,000 people die every year in traffic crashes. And today what we want to talk about is how to protect our kids when they travel back to school. At the NTSB, we're committed to 0 deaths on our nation's highways, and it's events like this, education and public awareness, that help to get some of that word out to the community. So I want to just recognize the work that's being done here today, this morning. Emily was my trainer about 10 years ago when I got my child passenger safety certification to be able to do seat checks. And Mr. Fitzgerald has already talked about, since 1999, here at Fitzgerald, they have checked over 44,000, and Emily mentioned to me it's 44,006 car seats. And thank you. I see George in the back there. I know that you and the Consumer Affairs Division were part of that very first effort in 1999. So George and Emily and Jack, thank you so much for the legacy that you have given to this community, for your leadership, and for making all of those kids safe and helping those families to make the right choices. For many of us, our kids are going to be going back to school. I have 3 boys, and they go to school in Fairfax County. And next month, those 3 kids will be boarding a school bus to go back to elementary and middle school. I know that riding a school bus is the safest way for kids to get back to school. So parents, as you're talking to maybe your kindergartners about riding the bus for the first time, or you're talking to your older kids, make sure that they understand that riding the school bus is safe, but they need to be aware of safety when they're boarding and exiting the bus, as well as they're on the bus. For other families, their kids might be walking or biking to school. It's important to talk to them about safe routes back to school, about the paths and the sidewalks that they might use, and also about those traffic safety devices and the crosswalks. The third way kids may be getting back to school is driving. And for parents of teen drivers, please make sure that you adopt a driving policy in your household. Reach an agreement with your teen about how to best reduce their risks. The way that you can reduce risk for your teen drivers: restrict the number of teen passengers that are in the car with them. Make sure that they always buckle up when they're behind the wheel, and limit their nighttime driving. Finally, restrict the use of portable electronic devices behind the wheel. And finally, a message for all drivers. This isn't about the kids who are going back to school, but the adults who are going to be on the road with those kids going back to school. Be safe around school buses, in neighborhoods where there are children, and in school zones. As school starts again, please allow yourself extra time and be patient when you approach that school bus that might be stopped and loading kids. And most importantly, make sure that you are completely focused on the driving task. Put down those electronic devices and focus on the road.
As you've heard, the Fitzgeralds have been leaders in the area of child safety, but they've been also leaders in other parts of our community. I want to say hitting that milestone of over 44,000 car safety checks is especially important to the moms and dads with young kids who are trying to make sure that they transport them safely. I think all of you know the statistics, which is if you have a properly installed child safety seat, it will reduce the chance of injury by about 71%. That is a huge safety step forward. But 75% of child safety seats are improperly installed. And so that leaves this huge vulnerability. And Jack was telling us a little earlier that when he first initiated this program, he found almost 100% of the people who were coming here had wrongly installed those child safety seats. So congratulations to all of you, to Emily Crown and your team, to Safe Kids Montgomery and the national organization, to the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue team, the men and women who are out there every day helping protect our community. Thank you for what you do today and every day. We really appreciate it. Nancy King is here, one of my colleagues in the state Senate, who's been just a terrific champion on these issues. So thank you for joining us today as well. To Chairman Hersman, she's been a great leader in her capacity as the head of the National Transportation Safety Board. I think the American public has come to trust her and know her well in terms of her ability to respond to major accidents, as well as to try and prevent every accident in our communities. Here, in addition to helping us with the kind of programs and education we're talking about today, she's been a leader in trying to make sure our Washington metro system is as safe as possible. We had the tragic crash back in 2009. Since then, we've worked to pass legislation to strengthen our ability to ensure greater safety measures, and Chairman Hersman has been at the lead of that effort. So I want to thank you for that, and I wasn't surprised, and I was very pleased that she was just very recently renominated to be the chairman of the NTSB going forward, having served in that capacity already, and we hope for a very speedy confirmation in the United States Senate.
The beginning of the school year is an exciting time of the year. Some of our students are entering their senior year. Some of our students are entering their new school. And all of the parents are happy that their kids are going back to school. However, it's also important that we focus on traffic safety this time of the year. This time of the year, there's a lot of new drivers on our roadways. There's a lot of new routines, and there's always a lot of distractions. Remember, when it comes to driving, it only takes 2 seconds to change your life forever. Bad things can happen to good people who do good things. I learned this firsthand in October of 2008 when I lost my 15-year-old son, Ryan Thomas, in a car crash. He was a good kid doing good things, and it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. So to get this school year off to a good start, I have some advice both as a parent who's lost a child and a traffic safety professional. Parents, make sure you have those courageous conversations with your children. Reinforce the rules regarding their provisional driver's license. No extra passengers, no cell phones, no driving late at night. Or, as the chairman said, have a driving plan or have your own home driving privileges. Remind your children to always drive safe and wear their seatbelts. And alcohol should never be a factor in your child's life. Students, think about what you're wearing in the morning and always have reflective gear on your persons or on your backpacks. Always look out for drivers and never cross the road being distracted, focusing more on your cell phones or your music than looking for drivers on the road. And if you're driving, please realize that you're the most dangerous drivers on the roadway. It's not your fault, it's just the way it works out in life. And if you're driving, please listen to your parents' advice and guidance. And everyone, 4 simple rules to follow. Don't drive distracted. Always wear your seatbelt. Respect our speed limits and never drink and drive. And finally, recognize this time of the year, our roadways are going to become more congested again. So please leave more time to get there and always follow the state motto of driving gently. Thank you all for listening.
The most important safety device on the bus is the bus driver and the bus attendant on special needs buses. Teach your kids to stay in their seats when they're on the bus. That's the most important thing they can do inside the bus to keep themselves safe. Teach your kids to obey and to listen to the driver, to respect the driver. If they ever get picked on or bullied on the bus, because we all know that, when you put 40 or 50 kids together on a bus with one adult, there's potential for that kind of thing to happen. If they're ever picked on or bullied, please tell them to go to a trusted adult to talk to that person. Hopefully that'll be the bus driver, but if they don't feel that connection with the driver, have them go to a school administrator or to the parent to get that situation fixed. One simple strategy might also be to move up to the front of the bus because less of that kind of activity has potential there in the front of the bus. Now I want to talk about outside the bus and probably repeat a couple things that others have said. Teach your kids how to walk to the bus stop. People think of kids that ride school buses as not being walkers to school, but there's a walking component to getting to the school bus. They're walking in the neighborhood streets, sometimes on heavier traveled roadways to get to a bus stop. Don't assume that kids know how to do that and to know how to do it well. Teach them how to do it. For the young kids, do it with them a few times till you trust that they'll make good decisions. If they happen to be walkers to school, teach them how to walk there. As was said before, teach them the right route to take. It's not necessarily the shortest route, that is the safest route. So teach them how to do that and make sure that they aren't taking unnecessary risks. And teach your kids, if they are bus riders, to always look before they cross the street. Okay, that's true. Even though the traffic is supposed to stop for the school bus, we all know that way too often that doesn't happen. So teach your kids. I can tell you as a school bus driver, it's a scary feeling when students get off the bus in the afternoon, kids they're going to cross the other side of the street. They go around the front of the bus and you watch some just blindly go across the street. Now you're watching as a driver to make sure nobody's passing, but it's a scary feeling knowing that they aren't stopping at the corner to look. So teach your kids to look for traffic. And that brings me to my final topic, and that is passing the school bus. It's something that happens way too often here in Montgomery County, across the state of Maryland, and across our nation. It happens thousands of times a day. People make a bad decision to go around a stopped school bus. The law says that you have to stop for a school bus with its red lights flashing and its stop arm out. It says that you have to stop unless you're on the other side of a divided highway. And that's true whether you're approaching the bus from the front or from the back. There's new laws now allowing us to put cameras on the outside of buses to enforce this law, and that's spreading across the country. We have a new law here in Maryland that allows for that.